International webinar is on the price of admission, financial inclusion strategies for migrants. We will begin with an introduction about the project and the topic today, and that will be followed by a presentation from Stephanie Mestralet from London's Fair Finance, and then we will have a presentation by Josefa Sanchez from Barcelona Activa. Each presenter will speak for about 10 minutes, and then we will go to a moderated Q&A with our experts, so please do get your questions ready. Both these good ideas from London and from Barcelona have been profiled in our Good Ideas collection, where you will find them online along with lots of related background material and information for follow-up. And a recording of this webinar will be available on our website, so please bookmark the page and share the archived recording with your friends or colleagues if they were not able to join us today. Cities of Migration is a web-based showcase of what we call good ideas in integration. These are profiles of innovative, successful integration practice from cities around the world. Local realities tend to trump national differences when it comes to the settlement and integration of immigrants. Good ideas, like good integration practices, travel can be replicated, adapted, and shared. So we have much to learn from one another, and the learning exchange brings these ideas alive to an international audience and invites you to ask questions, make connections, and take a few new ideas home with you. The Cities of Migration initiative is led by Maitree, a private charitable foundation in Toronto, which invests a significant part of its resources in improving the integration of urban migrants in Canada. Through Cities of Migration, Maitree works with an international group of partners from the UK, Europe, and New Zealand. We're fortunate to be able to bring their experience, insight, and influence to bear on this initiative. And today I'm very happy, hola, to announce a new partnership with the Fundación Bertelsmann, who are headquartered in Barcelona. We can look forward to learning more about the value of what the Spanish call living together as we introduce more good integration practice from Spain to our audiences over the next few months, as well as Spanish language access on our website. For our website users as well. So gracias to Michaela and Monique in Barcelona, and we look forward to hearing more from from cities in Spain in the future. And now, please join me in welcoming Stephanie Metralet from Fair Finance, a brilliant NGO in London that is creating social and economic opportunity for Londoners at the margins, what Omar Khan at the Runnymede Trust has called the unbanked in this month's e-zine. So Stephanie, let me turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kim. First of all, thank you very much for having us on this program. We're really happy to join this and to be able to share our practices with the audience. So my name is Stephanie. I'm working for Fair Finance. I'm the head of business for Fair Finance. I've been working with this organization for around a year now. So let me take you through this now. So basically, I want to take you through different steps. So give you a little bit of background about what is the context in the United Kingdom and particularly in the UK, in London. And then give you a little bit of background on Fair Finance, what kind of products we offer, what kind of service we provide, and to give you also a kind of profile of our clients and what the successes we manage to implement. So let me take you through the slides. So basically in the UK, you have to know that the issue is more about sometimes over-inclusion. There's financial exclusion is actually defined for us as people excluded from the mainstream banking system, but the issue is that there are also other providers in the UK that actually provide services at a really extremely high interest rate. So to give you some figures, the average household debt in the UK is £9,500. So it's very, very high. In February 2009, Britain's personal debt increased by over $1 million every 30 minutes, roughly. So more than 300 people today will be declared insolvent or bankrupt. More than 2,200 consumer county court judgments were issued every day in 2009. So it's just basically important figures to make you understand that in the UK, over-indebtedness is a real issue for every people everywhere, okay? Then according to the FSA, which is the Financial Services Authority, the government and Financial Inclusion Task Force, 10 to 15% of the adult population don't have access to bank accounts in the UK. 7 to 10 million have limited access to financial services, and up to 12 million people use non-mainstream lenders in the UK. A market estimated value of £16 billion, basically. You need to understand that in the UK there's no interest rate ceiling, so it means that it is legal to lend at any interest rate. So you can see 1,000% APR on a contract, and that is absolutely legal. So that gives you also an indication on the prices that is practiced in the UK, because a lot of banks actually refused customers, and they do turn to these lenders, particularly migrants, because if you cannot provide any proof of address or anything, then you have no other opportunities than to turn to those lenders. So the main lenders like that in the UK are Providence, which charge on average 265%, Moses Limited, 365%, Rhodes Finance, 1,064%, CLC, more than 1,000%, and Payday lenders, more than 2,000%. So you can see that it's really heavy and really expensive for everyone. So why do people borrow from those organizations? I mean, it's very expensive, so why would they turn to this organization? Because of information exclusion. I mean, in the UK, you've got a lot of, and self-exclusion, I would say. You've got a bank at every corner in London, but it's not because the bank is close to you that you have access to this bank. A lot of banks refuse people for many reasons, including address, credit history, no credit history, etc. So, and people also don't feel confident for going into this bank, so they would turn to those providers because they won't ask any questions, basically. Also, that's a question of accessibility and flexibility. Banks have very formatted products that are not necessarily suitable for those people. So basically, they need to turn to people who can provide this flexibility. They want to get those services very quickly and out of necessity. If you have a washing machine that's broken down, you need the money very quickly, and all the paperwork that the bank will require might be too long and not suitable for your needs. The product design and the simplicity, it has to be transparent and they want to know everything and to understand clearly what the products mean. Every time it comes to jargon, it's starting to be difficult for the customers. So that's in this context that Fair Finance was created, in order to provide a service that's both affordable, simple, and accessible to people, because we realized that there was either the banks would charge a low price but not suitable for people excluded from the banks, or there were those providers, the financial providers, would charge a very high interest rate but actually don't provide any suitable service for people. So we decided to create three main services, which is Fair Money Advice, which is a debt advice service, Fair Microcredit Loans, who provide business loans, and Fair Personal Loans, who provide personal loans. So Fair Finance is a not-for-profit organization, so we do charge an interest rate on loans, but all the profits are reinvested in the business. So for money and debt advice, the service is entirely free. We also provide access to bank accounts. We do have partnerships with banks to open bank accounts to our clients. We provide microcredit business loans for startup and existing businesses. We charge between 15 and 19% interest rate, and we provide personal loans, and we charge 28 to 35% interest rate. Basically, so our services, let's give you a little bit of profile on our customers. So let's say between 60% and 80% of our clients are women. Most of them are also single mothers, and between 60% again and 80% are migrants customers. So basically, to give you a bit of profile of this client, the average needs for a business loan would be around £3,000. For a personal loan, that would be £700. And those three services are tailored for different users. So basically, there's no link between the three services that we offer. When you have money problems and you are over-indebted, then you will go to our money advice service, which will provide you with guidance and one-to-one support for 50 hours of work together with the debt advisor that will help you reschedule your payment, that will take you out of your debts, basically. So that's this service. Then for the personal loans, basically, people coming to us for personal loans, they will ask for white goods, for uniforms, for clothing, this kind of service. And you will get this service in 24 hours, basically, because it needs to be quick, and there's not much paperwork to be given. And for the business loan, that takes up to 10 days to obtain a loan, and basically it's 80% of our clients are startups, because in the UK there's almost no other providers than us providing loans to startups, because banks are refusing, except NatWest, to give funding to business, to startup businesses, basically, and mainly also to migrants, because that's also an issue with the visa, etc. If you don't have a long-term visa, then you will not be granted a loan with a bank. So that's basically for the profile of our customers. So something else that I wanted to take you through is where do they live? Most of our customers, as you can see, are either council tenants or housing association tenants. Council tenants, that means that the houses are owned by the state, and the housing association are owned by independent bodies, but they are actually also supported by the state, but they are independent from the state. And they are like NGOs, basically. So the majority of them, of our clients, come from this housing organizations. And you have to know that we work very closely with housing associations because they provide us with funding as well, because they want us to help clients, and particularly over-indebted tenants, to get out of over-indebtedness. So they actually refer us their tenants in order to help them. Also, our clients, basically the majority of our clients are homemakers. A part of them are working, some of them are unemployed, retired, but the vast majority are homemaker, because as homemakers they don't have access to banking as well. So that's why they turn to us. Their other alternative would be to go to Provident or this kind of lenders who would charge a very high interest rate. So we are their only alternative. Then I wanted to give you a little bit of a case study so that you could see what we do and how we can help people. When SD originally from South America came to Fair Finance in January 2009, she had taken out 4 payday loans, each charging in excess of 4,177% APR. So it's a huge amount. SD had split up with her husband. She was struggling to keep up with all her bills. She tried to set up repayment plans, but her cooker broke and she needed to replace it. The bank wouldn't help her, so what did she do? She came to us, and Fair Finance was able to give her a loan at 35% APR, saving her £204 per month in interest payment. We also helped her to set up a repayment plan for utility debt, so she could also sort this out. So basically we helped on 2 stages, for the loans and also for the repayments. So what is the impact that our organization has on our clients? There's a financial impact. It increases their disposable income, their financial inclusion, and their asset development. In terms of disposable income, basically we save them between 20 and 100 pounds per loan. So it's just money that they can save to actually buy other stuff as well, like buying uniforms, etc. So we can consolidate debts if they are more expensive than the one we will offer. Financial inclusion, now they can manage their finance, so they gain more confidence in their finance, and it's not a subject of worry also as well. And they open bank accounts, etc. So it's they feel more confident in their everyday life. and asset development as well. So they are able to introduce saving habits, which will help to build personal assets over time, basically. In terms of personal impact, there's three main personal impacts that we've noticed: time, empowerment, and quality of life. In terms of time, it really reducing expensive debts gives people more disposable income and therefore more time. People can take the bus instead of walking. They can buy food in bulk instead of shopping every day. People have more time to invest in themselves and their families. Empowerment, helping people reach a position where for the first time they can choose how and when they spend their money. The psychological impact of being able to make their own financial decision is enormous. And in terms of quality of life, reducing the stress of dealing with doorstep and payday lenders, some of whom use intimidation to ensure repayment. So our clients have reported a reduction in stress and anxiety and an improvement of their general happiness. So for us, that's really a victory as well. And then in terms, just to give you statistics of the total number of clients we've supported since 2005 when we started trading, we've supported 5,000 people. We've made more than 1,800 loans. We made more than 160 business loans. Our bad debt rate is 8%. Knowing that 100% of our clients are refused by the banks and that our bad debt rate is actually better than the bank is a really good success for us. Debt advice given to more than 1,500 people, more than 12 million pounds of over-indebtedness managed, bank accounts open more than 120, and savings for clients over 450,000 pounds. So for us, that's basically what we think is a success, and we hope we can share more with you. So tips and advice to avoid over-indebtedness that we give to our clients all the time is always compare the prices of lenders if you want to borrow, especially in London. It's very important. Always open your mails, deal with your debts. They won't disappear. So like facing your debts is the most important thing. Always budget expenditures and bills. It will improve your financial confidence and allow you to apply for loans. Visit free debt advice centers if you feel you're piling debts. Discuss discount arrangements with utility providers directly. That will also help you. In terms of businesses, if I can give tips and advice, also to often turn to business advisor if you have access to them. In the UK, you've got Business Link that's free and that provides direct support, and they will help you both apply for loans and manage your business, so that will be of help for your business development. So I hope this information was of help, and I'm happy to answer any question you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stephanie, from Fair Finance in London. That was excellent. When I think how valuable good financial advice is to most of us, your remarks on London's unbanked become all the more important, and I've taken note of all of the tips you've given me. Now I would like to introduce you to our next speaker, to Josefa Sanchez from Barcelona Activa. Josefa will be telling us about one of the innovative programs that Barcelona's dynamic local development agency, Barcelona Activa, has created to drive business development and entrepreneurial investment in Spain's second city and its top city of migration. ODAME is a program supporting women entrepreneurs and a great example, it seems to me, of how good city governance translates into impact for an entire community. Barcelona has an extraordinary immigration policy and has built a quality employment strategy on that are really both outstanding examples of putting ideas to work, and why Barcelona Activa has been recognized by cities across Europe and globally, and most recently by Sergio Arzeni, Director of the Center for Entrepreneurship, SMEs, and Local Development at the OECD, who remarks that Barcelona's innovative and highly effective approach to economic development has been a constant source of learning and inspiration for cities and regions throughout the LEAD program. which was established in 1986. So on that note, I'd like to introduce you now to Josefa from Barcelona Activa. Welcome, Josefa.
Hi. Thank you very much, Kim, for your words. I would like to thank also to Evelyn and yourself and Cities of Migration for the opportunity to have you online, and to everybody else that is online. Thank you very much for taking your time. Okay, I would like to talk a little bit about the mission of Barcelona Activa. As you can read, is to foster the transformation of the city through mainly entrepreneurship and also making the business growing, especially nowadays with the crisis that we have. Also to improve quality on employment, the employment in the city of Barcelona. We have several activity areas, as you can see: entrepreneurship, business growing, employment, really. We take care of all unemployment people. Also, we improve the human capital of all those people coming to Barcelona and especially to Barcelona Activa. And we have the Cibernarium, that is the place where we give the IT instrument for the new type of job that the economy is needing. Now I will talk more about the School of Entrepreneurship for Women, ODAME. We've been working already 23 years with women entrepreneurs, and during these 23 years, 3,850 women have passed through the program. And as you can see, 48% have created their own company in sectors like technology and communication, 61%, services is 27%, and 12% in tourism sector. Concerning about the student, we have 79% that is Hispanic nationality, and then you have 12% from other same member and 9% from mainly Latin American and African people. The mission of the ODAME School is to help women to achieve the economic independence through the creation of their own businesses. That is our main mission. But we have several goals. As you can see, we support any woman idea, and when I say any woman idea, I would like to give you some examples of the, since this is migration, I will give you 3 examples of women coming from different places. Last year, we have a cooperative of women coming from Uruguay, and they have put a business for daycare for older people. Then we have somebody coming from Italy, for example, that she have an organization of wedding planners is the name, and she was coming from Italy. But we have also somebody else coming from Malaysia, and she have company training business. So as you can see, it's very different and one from another. So we support any business idea of any woman. Then we identify also in the city with women can be the new generation of entrepreneurs, where they are, and we look for them and we prepare them for the next year. Also, we put a lot of attention on creating innovative jobs inside of those new businesses that come to our office. So that is our 3 main goals. Then our objective mainly is to develop programs with no discrimination of any type, ethnia or religion. That's the main objective. Second is we look for teachers, tutors, mentors that can identify themselves with a woman entrepreneur. That was an easy job, especially on the first years of the school. We have mainly men that could give the expertise, the tutoring, and we have to identify those men. Nowadays, it's more easy to find women that could do those jobs. We provide also tools to those new businesses to be international from the beginning, because there is a great opportunity for women to have a business in their home and to be globally market. So that is one of our priority, to introduce the globalization and internalization in any business idea. Last one is to create innovative program, especially for growing businesses that are on crisis, especially nowadays. So that is our objective. You can read the main focus areas that we going through in the school, but I would like to mention two. One is the training. We put a lot of emphasis in the training program to put everybody together. People with a lot of education, with a professional type of life, with people that really were at home and they have an idea, so they learn one from each other, together with immigrant or anybody else that is coming to our program. We put also a lot of emphasis in the mentoring. We choose big businesses in the city, and we look for the president, vice president, anybody in that company that can give voluntary mentoring to these new businesses that they started. And the other part that we put emphasis is in empowerment. As Stephanie had mentioned also, empowerment is a key issue for women too. As you can read, what Oprah was saying after she been in business for a long time and being a very successful business, she was saying, I don't think of myself as a businesswoman. The only time I think about being a businesswoman is now, while I'm talking to you. So that is something together with the women issue, and we have to work from the beginning. And there is another quote from Rowling, the person that wrote Harry Potter. She was also with looking at her name as was a female name, and she changed a little bit her name to become more neutral type of name, so the boys could also read her book. So that's very important for us also, the empowerment. And then here you have some results that we want to expect to have. We are in the middle of the process. We will expect to have 2,000 women by the end of the 2011. And we also would like to develop an offer online training program for women outside of Barcelona, and expand and consolidate the existing network of women. We have an advisory board that gives us the credibility that we need, the school, and the advisory board is in the advisory board there are the two big business schools in the city of Barcelona, and also people from business. My last quote is about, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, the ability to triumph begins with you always. Thank you very much. I hope to have a lot of questions from you.
And I thank you very much, Josefa, for an excellent presentation with a particular focus on women in this morning's discussion about financial inclusion and financial literacy, and the promotion of entrepreneurial activity as a way of supporting economic development in cities. Both projects demonstrate how much these issues and initiatives reach right across the city and into neighborhoods and into the everyday lives of all city residents, regardless of gender, race, or postal code. So I think I thank you very much to both speakers. We are now going to open our session up to the question and answer period. We have a number of questions that have come in. I'm going to start our questions this morning from Irene Pardo in Spain, who has sent us a question that reaches across the two talks we've had this morning. Irene Pardo is with the Bertelsmann Foundation, and it's a Young Social Entrepreneurs Project. She notes today that we believe that the promotion of the entrepreneurial culture is basic for the development of a changing society that we live in. In what way can microcredits contribute to the support of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial culture? And I think I'm going to direct that question to Stephanie. Perhaps you'd like to comment.
Okay, well, thank you for the question. I think, yeah, microcredit can definitely contribute to the support of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs in general, because as I said in my presentation, especially in London, startups don't have any access to banking or to banks or to any kind of financial service. So it's very difficult for them to actually, take off from the ground. It's really difficult. So offering a service for startup is essential. But the other thing that's essential is to provide business advice as well. I mean, 80% of our clients are startups. But what we notice is that you've got two types of business advisors. You've got the business advisor that helps you apply for a loan, and you've got the business advisor that actually helps you develop a business plan, help you manage your business, and that's what you actually need when you start a business. Because we see people coming through our doors with great ideas, brilliant ideas, but they don't have the financial skills or management skills to actually run the business, and that's what they need to make sure that their idea becomes a real efficient business, basically.
Thank you very much. And Josefa, does your program support that access to credit?
Yes, we in Barcelona Activa we have a whole department that deal with the issue of financing the business. As Stephanie say, everything starts with an idea, and I think that you first have to have the idea and then to make up the idea viable. So what you do is your business plan, but one time you have it, then you have to look for the financial support. And microcredit make easier to that idea, to start at that idea. That doesn't mean that microcredit could finance the whole project, but at least you can start with a microcredit. So it's very important for the culture of entrepreneurship to have that thing at the end of your training, at the end of making, this business plan. So for us, it's also very important that and another financial support that we have in Barcelona Activa.
Okay. Well, thank you. Now, I have a very basic question for me, a question that I'm interested into. Abdullah Hashim from the Welcoming Center for New Pennsylvanians in the United States asks, what's the non-performing loan rate? I think that's something Stephanie referred to in her remarks, so perhaps, Stephanie, you'd like to clarify that?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a different ratio that I can give here. I've got the portfolio at risk, which is, I think, the non-performing loan rate that you're looking for. So the portfolio at risk is basically the number of loans in arrears out of the total number of loans. And so it changes between products to products. It's lower for the business loan. It's, let's say, between 10 and 12%. And for the personal loans, it's between 10 and 15%. And the rate I gave in the presentation is the bad debt rate, so it means that the loans are never repaid, basically. The other one, the 10 to 12 and 10 to 15%, basically, are the ones that fall in arrears but go back on track as well. later on. It depends on them, on their situation and circumstances, because all the loans that go in arrears between which are in arrears between 0 and 30 days, basically, we know that it might, they might go through an accident or anything, or we try to have a really good relationship with our customers, so we reschedule as soon as they call us. We try to help them as much as possible when they go through troubles, because we know it happens, it's part of life.
Okay, very good. That's great. I'm going to go on to the next question. This question's from Barbara with the Hague process in The Hague, the Netherlands. She's asking Stephanie of Fair Finance a question referencing the European context. She asks, how much do interest rates charged vary depending on the amount of the loan and repayment period? While perhaps not as high as other local lenders, 35% still seems extremely high compared to average EU standards that I'm aware of, which are closer to 6 to 10%. So perhaps you'd like to answer that one, Stephanie.
Yeah, so that 35% is just the interest rate, if you include all charges, because for personal loans, we do charge an admin fee of 5% payable upfront, so that might increase actually the total charge. So the total charge on average for our loans, which is 12 months long in average, it would be 44.8%. It's still higher than what you would find into the mainstream banks. But basically, we're exactly in between banks who will refuse 100% of our clients. If a client comes to us and says, I have a good credit history, etc., but I know you're around the corner, so I thought it might be good for me to come to you, we will ask him first, have you been to your bank? Because your profile will allow you to go to the bank and to have a lower interest rate. So that's how we work. If your bank says no to you, then come back to us, but first go to your bank. That's how we work. And why do we charge this interest rate? It's also because we want to be self-sustainable in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's the interest rate we need to charge for that. And once we are sustainable and we have enough customers for that, we will reduce the interest rate. That's our target, basically.
Thank you very much. Josefa, how challenging is it for some of your new entrepreneurs, especially those that are new to the city, to find credit to support their business startups?
Well, in fact, the microcredit works better for the people coming, the immigrant people coming from outside, than for local people, because with microcredit, they really don't ask for collateral. That is an issue for them, that they don't have any. But for local people, usually if they have collateral, then they ask for that, they have it, and sometimes they don't get the microcredit. So it's working almost for everybody that have an idea and it have a business plan and it have been approved by Barcelona Activa. We are one of the agencies that certified that this business plan is going to can be holding by a microcredit. But we also have other type of alliance with different banks. But everything is done through banks. Microcredit, everything is done by the banks. We don't have any organization like Stephanie, like FAIR here in Spain. Everything is done through the bank, and we go and ask them for a special type of interest rate, and also a special type of I say special looking for different sector that is very important for the city of Barcelona. So that's how we work here, the financial support for the new entrepreneurs and for the system one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. That's very interesting. I will encourage all of our audience to have a look at the newsletter that Cities of Migration put out, and our online e-zine at www.citiesofmigration.ca. This month's interview is with Omar Khan at the Runnymede Trust, who has just published a report on financial inclusion. And one of the things he talks about is how this collateral you describe is important not just for business startup, but for a whole range of supports, including access to housing and employment, etc. So that he speaks to the larger sort of social justice agenda and the way it impacts and can exclude, of course, not just newcomers, but anyone who's sort of unbanked in today's culture. But I have a question here from Marco Campana, and again, I think this is a question addressed to Stephanie at Fair Finance, but is a good one for Barcelona as well. He asked, does Fair Finance have any future plans to provide their fair money advice to clients online in any format, including multilingual? And he's thinking about the use of helpful fact sheets and promotional material that can complement the links that they have, for example, the page he's linked to. Now, I know that the Barcelona Activa is available at least in English and Catalan, possibly, as well as Spanish, but the whole issue of how one reaches across multilingual communities, but also promotes and recruits participants in these programs would be a very interesting one to address here. So maybe, Stephanie, you could start with this question.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, we actually did that already before. We provided this service also on the internet through webcams and etc. But for technical reasons, it was a bit difficult for people to hear properly, depending on where they were, the quality of the technical aspects of things. So we're thinking about doing it again in the future, but not right now. But I think it would be a really useful tool anyway, and that's something we're really looking into at the moment. So it's going to be probably available maybe in the next 2 years or something. And in terms of language, because that's something really important to us, we have in our office, especially for money advice, we speak more than 5 different languages in the office, and we also work with a translation operator. And every time we've got someone in the interview room that doesn't speak the language that we do in the office, then we would contact them, and we will be either 3 on the phone if the person is not in the office, or and they will translate directly, and that's official translators to make sure there's no problem or anything. So that's something we really take care about, because we know that the great majority of our customers are coming from abroad and don't necessarily speak at all English, to be honest with you. So that's very, very important to us.
Thank you. Now, we've just had a whole lot of questions, so Josefa, I'm going to ask you to go straight to the next question rather than continuing on this one. Beatriz Hernandez at KV Info in Copenhagen, she writes, at KV Info, this is another organization that with a focus on women. Beatrice writes, at KV Info, we believe that women are the single most important market opportunity for changing the world. And it is projects led by women with the different mindsets that are conducting some of the most effective social change. What kind of qualifications are required of immigrant women to join your school? Would you like to
yes.
that question?
I agree with her. And not only ourselves. I think that there is a very important program from Goldman Sachs about preparing women in Africa and underdeveloped countries in entrepreneurship that you can read on the web. So I think that many people believe that this change in the world will come through the women and also women entrepreneurs, because you are the first one giving teaching to the next generation. There are issues as risk-taking, decision-making, and also autonomy, economic autonomy that is go together with the entrepreneurship. So those are very important matter for the new generation. But you asked me about what are the requirements. we only require that the woman has an idea, as I say, only an idea. And the other requirement is that they are willing to work for that idea. So we have some tests for them, like we test how much of the risk-taking they have, but the more important thing is the idea and also the willingness to work in that idea. That's it, no more than that.
Would you like to comment, Stephanie, on
Yes.
on your audience?
I think I completely agree with Josefa. I think what is important is for the women to have I agree that women can change a lot of things. I mean, in terms of our applicants, if we look just at applications, we've got 50% men, 50% women, but in terms of approval, basically it's between 60 and 80% according to different products that are women actually. So their project and their preparation towards the loan and towards changing their lives and being empowered, they are more ready for that most of the time. So more willing, basically. So I completely agree with Josefa on that the will and the idea is the most important thing to start a business and to change things, and then to be ready, yeah.
That's great. I think in some ways you've answered Irene's next question. She asked at Josefa, and a question that you just tackled is how important is giving a chance to develop a new company or business to immigrant women in Barcelona, and how can it help her inclusion into the new society? Of course, we can broaden that question to include how financial inclusion also helps newcomers participate more fully in society. Josefa, do you want to answer that question? Do you want to respond to that question?
I must say that when you are an immigrant coming to some other place, what you want to be is anonymous. You don't want anybody looking at you as different people. When you are an entrepreneur or you are a business, nobody asks, is that business done by a woman, a man, somebody from outside? Doesn't matter. People buy the product, buy the service, and nobody asks about who has done it. So that's one of the more important sector where they want to be on. And also they also bring new idea or new way of doing the services from their country, and prepare those services with the new technology that they find in our country. That gives us a plus for the local people to look how fast they have put those ideas differently that coming from outside. So I think that is important for entrepreneurship is important for the integration of all those people. I think so.
No, thank you. That's a very interesting idea. The idea that business can be a great equalizer. I think it's true. I think when you're looking at the bottom line, I think this is something that we all have in common, and cities certainly stand to gain from the innovation, from the new skills, from the energy. I think that.
That's right.
Integration brings to our cities. So thank you very much for that. And I have Abdullah Hashim again from the Center for New Pennsylvanians in the U.S. asks how many businesses that were launched by the program graduates are still around after 3 years. What are the success rates? This is a very interesting question both for Josefa in Barcelona and for Stephanie in London. Would you like to start, Stephanie?
Yeah, we don't have a specific program for graduates in Fair Finance. So I think what I would like to say is that we don't have this kind of training or kind of things within Fair Finance. We do provide loan. We don't provide advice for businesses. But I think, I mean, all we've already granted. We've started 5 years ago, and we've already granted like more than 160 loans. And now we've let's say roughly 10% of the loans we've made for 5 years, but they were topped up before that, and they increased their loans because the business was really going well. So I would say, and they did top up after 3 years. like for 10% of them, which shows that the others are repaying correctly, but that shows that 10% of those are really well on track and doing really, really well, actually.
Huh. That's great. My screen has just switched. So would you like to comment, Josefa, on that?
I say that during those 23 years, we have 48% success rate. But in the first year, we have them for around 2 years. First year, to do the business plan and to start the business. And second year, to consolidate more than business. One time you start, you are having the problem. But during those 2 years, 25%, around 25% is the rate, success rate. Of course, when they are tutoring, they come every week to our office for training, for tutoring, and also they look at the mentor twice a month. So they are very much accompanied.
Yes, I would like to emphasize on this because I think it's really essential to provide tutoring, and we try to develop this service. But I think it's really good what Josefa is doing in Barcelona, because it's essential for businesses because they do need this support on a long-term basis, and that's absolutely essential to the success and integration of their businesses in the economic structure.
Thank you. No, that's excellent. And what sort of promotion do you do actually in not immigrant communities, but some of your target communities in London to make people aware of these services, Stephanie?
Yes, we do work very closely with business advisors, actually, because as we are not offering the service that Barcelona Activa is offering, we need to offer this service through partnerships, basically. So we work with more than 20 business advisors across London, and they do provide this service. And we also go to fairs in order to promote our service. We also do leafleting directly on market sites where there are stores and everything. We also, during our launch and everything, we do promote on the newspapers. But the main channel for us to receive customers is actually through the partnership with business advisors across London, Business Link and others, smaller ones.
That's very interesting. And Josefa, how do you bring in your new?
We usually get our clients through the web. Yeah, and also we have contact with associations. They come to see Barcelona Activa, the services that we offer. But everybody knows Barcelona Activa around, so anybody that has an idea, probably somebody else will say, go to Barcelona Activa, they will help you. So, and also through different seminars that we do around the year. Many people, we put them on the web and also on the paper. People usually know about it.
Thank you. Well, I have a last question from Riva addressed to Barcelona Activa, but it really works for both of our speakers today, and that's about what happens when successful programs like the ones you run bring newcomers and your target and audiences together around these issues. She asks whether you have worked on whether any networks have emerged out of the programming that you do, and whether you have programs to support that kind of strategic relationship building. It would be interesting to know, perhaps we'll ask Josefa that question, whether there's a network of women entrepreneurs in Barcelona that...
Yeah, we have a different association, but we also have an alumni association, ODAME, that they work separately. It has been done by the alumni from the beginning of the program. They were coming, since they were coming the whole year, every Monday. In the morning, they got used to being together at least for several hours. and then they decide to do an association to do networking and to help others. So that's very important. They come at the beginning of the training course and they say where they are, what they are doing, and then the communication is online for everybody. So we really welcome that. And also we have the Entrepreneurship Day in Barcelona. It's a very special day where we get together everybody that have to do something with entrepreneurs, women, men, all the organizations, Chamber of Commerce. Barcelona Activa is the one that have the idea and is the promoter of the Entrepreneurship Day. And that is also a big event, so we have many people that are going there. And it's a day not only in Barcelona, we started in Barcelona, but then Madrid got it, and every community in Spain has the day of entrepreneurship. So that's
very good.
Important day for us.
Very good. Yeah. No, I think you're building I think the work that we've been talking about today, and that we'll be able to continue to investigate by reading about through the Good Idea profiles that we published online. These are good ideas, and what we really hope is that this will encourage more people to think about these ideas and to replicate them in communities closer to home. I'm going to give you one more quick question from Peter, who wants to know whether you see the role of mutuals such as credit unions, where customers are owners in the financial inclusion of immigrants. Is there a role for credit unions or mutual associations in some of this financial inclusion work? I guess that's a question for you, Stephanie.
Yes, I think credit unions are very big in the UK actually, and especially in London, and they are offering services that we cannot provide as a not-for-profit organization, because we are not allowed to do savings or etc. if we are not a bank or a credit union in the UK. So they're offering this kind of service. But the only bad side of their situation at the moment, I would say, is that they are almost as strict as a bank would be. So if you're refused by a bank, you're mostly likely to be refused by a credit union as well, because you have no credit history or because you have bad credit history. So what we ask our clients is to actually deal with their debts, but it's not because they have debts that they will be refused by us. It's just it depends on how they deal with it. But I think actually owning the organization, I think it's a good thing. But it depends how it's redistributed. But I think I think it's a good thing, and if we could do that as well, that's something we would be thinking about. But we are more into like the staff owning the business more than the clients at the moment, because it doesn't give back enough, we think, for the clients. So it really depends, but it's a good thing, but it's not a path we are going to, basically.
And Josefa, is that a question that you'd like to comment on?
Well, no, we really go through them mainly because they always it's more important people for the financial support for the new businesses. So we do have contact with them, but people usually go through their banks, and we work with them as much as we can.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Stephanie from Fair Finance in London. Thank you very much, Josefa from Barcelona Activa's Odame program. We've now concluded our session. Thank you very much for our audience and the questions they've sent in. It's good to see that there's been a little bit of chatter on this side as well. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. Our time has run out, so we're going to let you return to your busy days in London and Barcelona and beyond. So on behalf of all of our participants, I would like to thank Josefa and Stephanie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well.